Section 1. The following is a brief overview of the entire package, its parts, and their use. It is not a full installation video. This software bundle can be easily installed on basically any average computer. However, if you intend on running larger projects, such as a commercial business, then your computer will need to be equal to the task. Ideally, it should be a server or multiple servers. Now, we all know servers can be expensive, but for those on a budget, you can often find refurbished servers, some under $500. So let's get started. Okay, we will start with the INDI-Core bundle downloaded to our desktop. Click on the INDI icon to open the bundle. The main selection panel will open. The way this looks is just a skin, able to be customized by the user. All of the config buttons, except for the first, are grayed out when first opening this app because they must be configured in order. As such, we will start with Control Panel 1, the INDI-GSS. INDI-GSS stands for the INDI Global Super Server, because everyone who installs it becomes a miniature server, and the sum total of all of these nodes equals the super server. So, what does INDI mean? Well, INDI means a lot of things: independent, individual, or an acronym for Independent Network of DApp Integration, or whatever else you want it to mean. It is indeed indicative of the spirit of individual independence. Now we will click on the Config button. This first installs a virtual machine application onto your computer that is compatible with your specific OS. Next, it opens Control Panel number 1. Now this is also just a skin, to be customized by the user. Furthermore, this flashy setup is still under development. What it looks like now is more like this. Kinda boring, right? This control panel is what configures your node. These sliders are the amount of your main computer's resources that you wish to dedicate to the INDI-Core network. The procedure is the same for all of them, so we will only examine GPU in detail. Let's get a close-up. First, you would set the top main slider. This is the total GPU that you give to the network and take from your computer. It is recommended that you take no more than 90%, and even less if you are running desktop apps simultaneously, such as a graphic design app which needs many resources, else you risk crashing your computer. Second, you set the slider below it. This divides the above allocated main amount between yourself and others. By self, we mean all resources that you want to be used upon your own stuff on the INDI-Core network, such as your own video page. By others, we mean all resources that your own stuff does not need, so you can then sell these resources to the network at the price you want for them. Notice the position the slider is in now. This position is neutral. Notice also how the green area is labeled Keep and has a 0 to 100 range, with a secondary fixed size marker. Therefore, it is clear that all allocated GPU is being used for self. Now, if that was not enough, the slider would be moved up into the Buy area. Note, moving the slider up does not move the secondary marker. The amount this can be raised is proportionate to the amount of INDI you have staked in the credit union. This is INDI-Core's token staking pool, explained later in Section 3. Therefore, if you have a large website that you want to run, but do not want to buy a server, you can purchase computing power directly from the network instead. Conversely, if you have excess resources, you would move the slider downward to the Sell area. Moving the slider downward moves the secondary marker simultaneously, because the amount you do not keep is exactly the same amount you sell. The degree to which you move into the buy or sell zones will be reflected in the total area. Now notice the small plus and minus signs on the top and bottom of the slider. Buy will mark your total with a minus sign because it is a debit to your account. Sell marks your total with a plus sign because it is a credit to your account. Lastly, you will set the price that you want. Obviously, there will be a market price, but you do not have to sell at that. In times of demand, you could raise your price, Conversely, if you really need funds, you could sell at a discount. The sections of this control panel are powered by the Golem, SIA, and Mysterium protocols, and therefore will be priced in Golem, SIA, and Mysterium coins and units. Exchange of these coins with INDI tokens is also explained in Section 3. The final slider, Power, is for use in Phase 2 of our project, where people with grid-tied homes will be able to swap their excess power generation with people in their own locality. Okay, so now that all of your sliders are set, you can continue with the installation. By clicking the Save Settings button, the INDI-Core package will now install its entire payload onto this virtual machine as opposed to your private computer directly. This adds an extra level of security to your personal computer. This package includes numerous open source applications, but mainly Ubuntu, Webmin, RemoteBox, Docker, Portainer, Nginx, and many more. By mentioning this, the advanced users will have a good idea of what is happening and may wish to change it, so for them, they could choose Advanced Installation. However, the primary goal of this package is simplicity for the non-tech user. Throughout the installation, there will be multiple fields for you to fill out, but those details will be explained in the installation video. The installer will alert you when it has finished and return you to the main selection panel. Congratulations! You now have a miniature virtual server upon your computer. Notice that Control Panel 2 is no longer gray, allowing us now to configure the next section.